Welcome into my world, you're playing my game. Thought that you could come up and they're fitting off of my knee. Talking out the side of your neck like you're insane. Cortisol levels to the roof, inflame. Kids these days so shameless, selling out real friends for a paycheck. Mama didn't teach them no home training. Wanna be me so bad, but they failing. Step to the plate though, I'll take a challenger. I ain't scared of no low life scavenger. I should warn you though, if you haven't heard, I ain't no Colleen, ukulele ballager. Shots been fired, wanna tell that, say it to my face though, not behind my back. Won't be long till you share it in the group chat. And when I call you up, you gonna backtrack. And you should've kept the name out your mouth. That's though how it all turned out. When you try to use my name for clout, keep on going, give me something you can talk about. And when I call you up, you're gonna backtrack. What a fantastic song. Truly the song that keeps on giving, I'll say that. Okay, all right, so today, why isn't this letting me bring it over there? Oh no. Houston? Okay, I fixed it. I was gonna say we have a problem. Okay, so you may have seen some of the promotional materials, but I do have an awards show coming out. It's tomorrow. So I've been running around like, more than usual, trying to get everything together. It's going to be a production. There's going to be a red carpet. Okay, there's going to be a red carpet. And by red carpet, I mean it's a rug from inside my house, but I'm moving it to a different spot in my house for it to be the red carpet. And it's going to be a live BJ Investigates over there. So I did start putting out some of the like the teaser trailers or whatever. So you may have seen those around. There's some changes that need to be made to some of them. So don't get too attached to those nominations and those nominees just yet. Consider those to be, teasers or whatever. But anyway, so the reason I started out this video with that information was because I have to run today, like, not physically, girl, I don't run. But I can't be on here too long today, okay? But I do want to cover some of the breaking news that I heard about. I want to talk about it. I want to discuss this breaking news that I saw, or it's not that breaking because it happened like yesterday. But okay, so here's the situation. We have two things that we need to talk about, three things we need to talk about. So two things, David Diddy. And then the third thing, I'm going to play some of the little, nomination. Okay. Like, ugh, girl, it's always something with his hair. And then I'm going to play some of the little nomination, teaser trailers or whatever, just to like get y'all excited, get y'all hype. There's one category that y'all can vote on. It's Jezebel of the Year. The rest of the categories is just me. And the ThatSurpriseWitness, BJ Investigates Studios. Okay. So first things first, let's start. I do have a TMZ article up. Okay. So if y'all are following the David case like very closely, then you might already heard about this because this news did come out yesterday. But again, if you're not following very closely, or if you only get the news from me for some reason, then you might not have heard about this. And this is there's going to perhaps be some type of arrest in the David case. But it's not David. And David and I should say Celeste Rivas Hernandez, because David, although he has been sort of like, given a little nod in the media as if he is a suspect, the police, I don't believe, have come out and actually named him as a suspect officially, to the public. So, just trying to get my little stuff together here. So I do want to be careful, with, saying, I do want to be careful with saying, okay, the David case or whatever, but that is pretty much, what's going on here. It's like, we think David is one of the suspects, but the last time I talked about the David case, we talked about a grand jury being assembled in the case. And apparently this grand jury has continued to operate. I don't know if this is like a real, an official grand jury that has the power to indict, or if this is still one of those investigation grand juries. We did talk about Steve Steve Fisher, the investigator on the case. We talked about, he was a private investigator and he got this weird, like, I don't know if that's what Mark Garagos was handing out to his clients under the bridge or what, but it was like basically like the back of a Wawa receipt and the back of an In-N-Out receipt or something. And somebody wrote it on it. It was like, okay, come to the contempt of court hearing. And he was like, I ain't going to that hearing. This is not notice. We want to come to a private hearing doing that. So he, we talked about that on my most recent video. Well, now I do have some more information to report. This is an exclusive coming from TMZ. The title is Celeste Rivas Grand Jury, Uncooperative Witness to be Arrested. Exclusive. Okay, so this was published yesterday at 2:30, so about 24 hours ago. Okay, there's a picture of David here. Let me turn on the reader view. Okay. It says there's trouble in the grand jury room where witnesses are testifying about the circumstances surrounding Celeste's death. Because at least one witness is so uncooperative, she is about to be arrested. Okay, so this kind of rules out that they could be talking about David or Steve Fisher. Okay, so they're saying she. Here's the way it went down. Beth Silverman, the deputy district attorney presenting the case in Los Angeles, came out into the hallway Wednesday afternoon. So it was yesterday. And approached attorney Evan Jeunesse. Okay, who's Evan Jeunesse? Well, Evan Jeunesse is the lawyer for someone we've already heard about. This Evan Jeunesse is the lawyer for that manager who came out into the hallway. And, this is my last David video, so y'all make sure to go watch that. But this person who came out into the hallway was like a day-to-day manager for David, came out in the hallway and he was like, the prosecutor seemed to be mad that, or really pushed me. She was really pushy on the sorry, I have like 4 cases swirling around in my head right now. I'm trying to like find the part of my brain that has this case in it. The prosecutor was very pushy. This was David's manager. The prosecutor was very pushy on why I didn't call 911. I told her I didn't feel like I had the responsibility to call 911 because I just wanted to get back on to the door. Okay, so we talked about that. Now, the lawyer that he was out there in the hall talking to apparently was this one right here, Evan Jeunesse. This Evan Jeunesse represents Robert Morgan Roth, that's his name, who manages David. And that Robert Morgan Roth, he works for a company, or maybe he runs the company called Mogul Vision. And guess who else works for Mogul Vision? The guy who rented David's house. Remember, there was like this guy that was like a manager and he was renting the house that David was staying in. Well, he works for Mogul Vision, and here's this one works for Mogul or directs Mogul Vision too. Morgan Roth, Robert Morgan Roth. So, yeah, I don't know if Evan Jeunesse represents also that other manager. I forget his name at the moment, but this, Robert Morgan Roth manages David. Now, this Evan Jeunesse was in the hallway yet again, yesterday, getting talked to yet again. Now, apparently the DA, Beth Silverman, storms out of the grand jury room, which is supposed to be secret. It's supposed to be secret. I mean, I never heard so much coming out of a grand jury room in my life, because this is supposed to be secret. But I guess TMZ has reporters and investigators and such staked out right there in that courtroom, or in the hallway. And so, this lawyer, she's out in the hall, Evan, and then the Beth Silverman, the district attorney, the prosecutor, she comes out into the hallway and she starts making some statements that are apparently overheard by people. She told the lawyer she was going to have the judge issue a body attachment. Okay, so that's like an arrest warrant. Like, you have an attachment on your body such that whenever the police come in contact with your body, they're going to bring you to the court. This was going to be to force a female witness to testify before the grand jury. It appears that the female witness was a no-show. And a visibly frustrated assistant district attorney, this is the prosecutor, Beth Silverman, she was visibly frustrated. She said that she would have authorities take this female into custody and bring her into the courtroom. We do not know who the female witness is, But it's interesting. She's represented by the same lawyer as Morgan Roth, who's been around 3 days testifying before the grand jury. Okay, so this guy, this day-to-day manager, the one that was like, "Oh, I was getting pressed so hard on what was going on with the why I didn't call the cops. I just wanted to get back on the tour." That guy was on the stand about 3 days testifying for this grand jury. It says that the TMZ broke the story. Morgan Roth was in the hallway on Monday telling his lawyer things got tense in the grand jury room. So his lawyer's the same one, Evan Jeunesse. So Evan must just be sitting out there all day just waiting to answer questions. Telling his lawyer things got tense in the grand jury room when Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman pressed down on him why he didn't call police. He didn't say what he knew that would make Silverman challenge him on not making the call, but he said he responded to her by saying he didn't think it was his duty, and he was just trying to keep David's tour going. Cha-ching! Cha-ching! That's the cash register. Ka-ching! Ching-ching! I'm pulling the cash register like old school, like we're in the saloon or whatever, okay? Morgan Roth is not worried about none of that. He's worried about money. This money changer. Cesati said TMZ has sleeper agents all over LA, including law enforcement and attorneys. Could be. Wonder if Sean Chapman Hawley is one of them. Anyway, so then it says it's unclear if the female witness has some connection to Morgan Roth, but it all points to David, who the DA and LAPD are treating as a suspect in what they say is the murder of Celeste. Okay, so I'm saying, murmur instead of, what. Thanks so much to Lucas Rizzo for the £5 super chat. Hey, BJ, I'm curious to know about your take on the Kardashians being around Britney these days is very suspicious to me, and it's money changer behavior to me. The Kardashians have learned from the best momager in the world. She has single-handedly become, probably damn near a billionaire, at least 100 millionaire off the backs and the sex appeal of her own children. And so, of course, whenever you, with a mother like that, you can't help but probably learn the ways. So it's no secret that none of the Kardashians or Jenners have any talents to speak of at all whatsoever. I think if you want to call modeling a talent, maybe that one tall one, Kendall, that one might be talented. But the only thing that these women have really been known for is like sexual scandals. Like, Kim Kardashian basically put the family on the map with her tape with Ray J. And, that's pretty much the first time I ever heard about her. Whenever I was a young lass, as it were. And so, I think that now that they are getting old, all of us, look, present company included, us millennials, I'm happy about it. I'm gracefully just sliding right into my auntie era. I have fully arrived there. I was watching I Am Dex, and he was like, no, we're the same age and I don't want to be an uncle. I'm like, oh, well, too bad you are an uncle. This is us. We're the adults. We've arrived. That doesn't mean we have to start acting like, the adults did whenever we were children, God forbid. But this is kind of where we are with things. And so I've noticed, gravity taking effect on parts and places that gravity wasn't affecting previous in my life. I've noticed a little wrinkle, a little fine line here or there. Me personally, I haven't found any gray hairs yet, but I'm sure it's coming. And so, the Kardashians, the older crop are about 5 to 10 years older than I am. So I can only imagine that they too are starting to notice the effects of aging. And see, for people like them, that's a huge problem because they don't have any talent. Okay, they don't have any talent. They don't have any skills. And frankly, this over-wopification of everything, people are over it. People don't even care about a butt no more. People are getting their BBLs removed. Okay, it's people are going back to nature, as it were, in some ways. And so I can imagine the Kardashians and the Jenners, specifically the Kardashians, they have grown accustomed to a certain lifestyle and having a certain amount of money. But how are they going to make that money whenever they are getting wrinkly, saggy, and irrelevant? The Kardashians are so passé. So it doesn't surprise me at all that they would want to basically be vampiric succubuses, succubi, I guess, on people who actually do have talent. And not only talent, but also people who people love. People love Britney Spears. They tried to make us hate Britney Spears. They will never make us hate Britney Spears. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that those money changing succubi are trying to now leech like the parasitic leeches without talent, talentless parasitic leeches that they are, onto somebody who's more beautiful and more talented and more beloved than them. So that's what I think is going on. That's my opinion. I don't know these people, so I have no way to know anything more than just my opinion, but that's what I think about it. Thank you for the £5 super chat. Thanks so much, Jade, for the £2 super chat. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Thanks to Kelly Ann becoming a new member. Okay, yeah, it's like vampiric succubi. I don't know. Like I kind of like that's how I feel about it. And that's another thing too. They stupid. No offense, but I mean they are. Like, just because you can't pass the bar exam doesn't mean you're stupid. I will tell you from firsthand experience, it's one of the most difficult tests, not only to take, but to study for that I've ever taken. I was in school for like 27 or something years. Okay. Like I was in school more years of my life than I've done anything else in my life. More years of my life, like more than half of my life years I was in school, more than probably 80%. Okay, so I've taken a standardized test or two in my day, or three, or a few. Okay, the bar exam is very, 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 very difficult, and truly, I mean, wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and you could have failed it too. Okay, but Kim Kardashian's been so-called supposedly studying to be a lawyer for about 8 years, 4 years, 6 years, a long time, like at least twice as long as it takes to get a law degree. She has all this money. She has access to literally probably legal professors. She probably literally has them in her social circles and all this money. She could have gotten private tutors. She's been studying for the LSAT for like, I think years and still failed it. Then she came out with Dr. Amen and wanted to do a brain scan. I could have told her ass that there was going to be holes in her brain. I could have told her that. And I've done a video too on this Dr. Amen guy. It's not really holes in your brain. It's not like holes in your brain. It's like areas of lower blood circulation and activity and stuff, but he makes it seem like it's holes in your brain. But anyway, yeah, I'm in my auntie era and I'm not going to I'm not going to quabble or quibble about it. I am, and I like it. It feels nice. It feels good to be a grown ass adult. I don't feel anymore. It's like as soon as I hit 35, I'm like, I'm grown. Like there was this time between like, I don't know, 24 and 34 where I was like, I don't know. Are we the adults? I feel like a kid myself. No, I don't. I don't feel like a kid myself. I feel more qualified to do most things than most people they put on TV. I could be the president. Yes, I could, but I don't worry. CIA, take me off the list. I ain't running. Okay. Don't worry. I ain't running for president. I reserve the right to change my mind, but I don't think I want to be president because no, then I have to deal with those vampiric succubi in the White House. I ain't trying to do that. I feel like I could do most things. Whatever Katy Perry and Gayle King did on that rocket ship, I could have done it better than whatever that was. Anybody you put up on TV, I pretty much like almost all of them could do better than I could do everybody's job better than them. There's a few things I definitely can't do. Shout out to the people that's like building houses. I can't do that. Laying tile, I can't do that. Accounting, probably not. No, I probably can't do that. There's some things that I'll admit it, but like just in general, I'm grown. I'm capable, and I don't feel like I'm a little kid at all anymore. No, I feel grown, and that's just that. So, but with the thing with Kim Kardashian, is she stupid too? Because she got all that money, she had all this time, and she still can't pass the bar. That's the only. She's an idiot. That's my opinion. Anyway, yes, exactly. I'm 90. Why'd they put her in Space Girl? I don't know. And why'd she do the LSD before? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if she did or didn't, y'all. I didn't take a blood sample or anything, but it looked like psilocybin or, I'll say psychedelic behaviors to say the least. And no shade, no shade. Okay. So that was the Morgenroth of it all. Okay. So let's see. Vice put an article out of this to the same effect. So let me see if it says anything else new, different. I think this might just be a citing TMZ article, but let's see real quick because this one just came out a few hours ago. Police reportedly making arrests around Celeste Riva's death, but it's not David. David is not being taken into custody. Not. David is not being taken into custody over the death of Celeste, but an alleged uncooperative witness may be arrested months after the body of Celeste was found inside a car registered to singer David. Grand jury hearings are underway. Things are seemingly getting intense. However, as police are reportedly set to make an arrest. According to TMZ, one female witness has been uncooperative. Okay, so they're just like citing TMZ. LA Deputy Beth Silverman is apparently allegedly calling for the arrest of the unnamed witness. The outlet states that the witness is represented by attorney Evan Jeunesse. Notably, Jeunesse represents Morgan Roth, David's manager, who testified for about 3 days. Now, manager in Hollywood can mean a lot of things. Manager in the music industry can mean a lot of things and often does mean a lot of things. Okay, so what kind of manager? I don't know. Girl, I don't know. She's been studying for like 5 years with all the recess and with all the resources in the world. I'm feeling like, I could pick up this freaking camera lens cap. I feel like this thing right here could pass the bar exam if you gave it all that. Anyway, so what else do I want to talk to y'all about today? Diddy. Diddy's lawyers are apparently very mad. Okay. Now we did kind of a little bit touch on this the last time I talked about Diddy as well. And we talked, oh no, look at my little alien. She done fell down back there. That's because I took the crown off her head. I gotta do something with that background. It's time for a refresh. I need to take everything off of there and all that. But that's what I get for making fun of Adam 1622 Grand Mason and his exploitation film bookcase or whatever thing yesterday. And like I was calling that thing a bookcase. It's really like a display case. But anyway. Thanks much to 1111 Morgan being a member for 2 months. Cousin, this David case is such a mind beep. Nevertheless, thank you for your coverage. Love you. Also, the hair is eating. I I little different to it. I actually used hairspray. I used hairspray in it. It's wash day though. So isn't that always such a shame when it's like fine, like my hair is like, it's a little greasy back there, but I didn't put no dry shampoo in it. Isn't that the worst whenever it's finally wash day and your little waves or your little curls, they've been like, acting a little bit crazy and unruly up by the front of your face. And then all of a sudden they decide to do what they're supposed to do. And it's the day you're supposed to wash your hair. That's me today. Somebody said I would make a great judge. I got my little gavel. Okay. So we did talk about Diddy the last time I was on here talking about Diddy. We talked about the fact that Diddy's lawyers probably did not know that they were being recorded on the phone. He was recording them on the phone and like on their calls about trial strategy and things like that. And the fact that Diddy allowed other people to listen in on those calls made it such that those calls were no longer privileged. They were no longer confidential under the lawyer-client privilege because now all these other people were in the room. Now, even if other people were just in the room, simply in the room, you can waive your privilege. But especially when you allow it to be recorded. Okay. So by another person. So Mark Agnifilo apparently is real mad. And Mark Agnifilo is not coming out and saying it himself, but he seemingly is allowing to Harvey Levin from TMZ to come out and say it. And let me pull up the video. Oh, wow. What is this? David arrests shocks internet as Diddy gets into huge trouble. Oh, no, that's clickbait. TMZ got to do something to put a title every now and again. Okay, what's this? I think this is it.
I got to say, this is awful that Diddy owes his life to Mark Agnifilo.
I have a theory. I haven't heard anybody say this theory. Shout out to Rabbit in the chat because I did see her earlier on live. And she was talking about, I think it was this video or it was another one very similar to it. And maybe Rabbit did say this. Maybe someone did say this. I wasn't in for the whole live because like I said, y'all, I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off trying to get this award show set up for tomorrow. And I don't know if y'all saw on BJ Investigates too. I did a little like behind the scenes live for members only. So if you're a member, then you were able to be in that live. But then I ended up like editing it down a little bit and then putting it out to make it available to everybody. But I have a theory. Thank you to Rabbit. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Hit the like, hit that like, hit that like. Thank you, Rabbit. Thank you to Moody Mary for member for 1 month. Love you, girl. Hugs from Portugal. Oh my goodness. Shout out to the Portuguese cousins in the chat. That's my cousins over there, in case y'all did not know. There is a man in my chat right now sexually harassing me. Okay. Lack Gray. I'm putting this up here because I'm going to be reporting you, possibly to the police. I don't play around. I do not play around with stuff like this. I am someone's fiance and I do not play around like this. And I hope you get arrested. And now you're blocked from my channel forever. Anyway, so I'm a child of God. I don't play those games. Anyway, this face Harvey Levin is making right now is basically the face that I made of that man just now in my mind. Okay. So anyway, bye, disgusting cretin. So I have a theory. Okay, let me get to my theory. My theory is that Harvey Levin is shaking and quaking in his boots because guess who else might have been recorded getting talked to? Mark Garagos. Guess who's Mark Garagos? That's the other half of the two angry men. So if Mark Garagos was maybe talking to Diddy, could Harvey, it seems to me Harvey is shaking and quaking in his boots because he don't know who got recorded now. They got 50 Cent, Uncle 50 Cent's out here going everywhere all over to and fro, high and low, saying that ain't the only footage he got. There was a bunch of footage he wasn't able to put into the documentary. It's the number one docu-series in the world. It's the number one docu-series in the world right now. Number one in the US, number one in the UK, number one in hell, number one in heaven. They watching the Diddy series everywhere. Okay. And we got Uncle 50 out here on everybody's couch, on everybody's chair, on everybody's podcast, on everybody's newsroom going, yeah, I got more tapes. Because you see, I totally agree. Amanda is awake. I believe OF has directly contributed to the downfall of our society, and so has WAP. Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B and Kylie Jenner, those three vampiric succubi, in my opinion, I believe they are directly contributing the WAPification and the downfall of our civilization. And truly, and look, listen, I've never said this out loud before, but I'm feeling emboldened to say it today. I feel like a big reason why we're seeing so many assaults on the rise by strangers. See, used to be most of the time the assaults that happened on women were done by people we knew, people that you were in a relationship with at some point, et cetera, et cetera. But now it's like, oh, like a blonde lady walking down the street, let's snatch her up. I truly believe a huge part of that rise in this type of activities is because people like Bonnie Blue, people like Lily Phillips go out and they act like the most grotesque and detestable types of activities are something that is enjoyable and fun. And actually it's like grotesque, detestable, and painful and disgusting and debasing. And I think it's got the young men across the world real confused. I think there should be things that you should know, right? Like there should be things you should know. But whenever you're making fantasy photo shoots, we'll say, where it's the fantasy of saying, no, stop. And then the person continues. I'm like, honestly getting hot in the face, even thinking about it. Like this is affecting young women, young men in irreparable ways. We have to nip it in the bud. Okay. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Anyway, let's get back to this other creep over here. Harvey Levin, innocent until proven guilty, but I believe he might be quaking and shaking in his boots over what maybe possibly he is on recording saying, or what maybe his little business, I don't know, I won't say business partner, because I don't know if they actually what the status or the nature of his relationship with Mark Garagos is in particular. But Mark Garagos helped pick the Diddy jury. Okay. You remember the beginning of the Diddy documentary, we have Mark Agnifilo on the phone with Diddy, and Diddy's going, we need somebody that can do propaganda, somebody that could do the dirtiest work, somebody that's done it here in other countries, somebody knows how to do, we need propaganda, Mark Agnifilo. You are a lawyer for the courtroom, and I need one for the public court of public opinion. And so who was I speculating? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember me speculating at that time. I bet you that one that he picked up was Mark Garagos. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember. But anyway, so here's Harvey. Now, you will note the disdain in this man's voice. The disdain. Okay. I've never heard this type of disdain in his voice for any of the things that Diddy was accused of. Now, somebody else did say this too. Maybe it was Rabbit. Maybe it was Murad. I don't know. It was somebody's coverage I was watching earlier today, this morning, and they were saying, I never heard him talking like this about any victims. I never heard him seeming like he was like really feeling it with his full chest like this about really much else. His back room was cheering, applauding whenever it was announced that Charlie Kirk was assassinated dead right in front of all of us. So I never heard him take this type of conviction with that. But whenever one of his fellow 1%er buddies, one of his fellow elite has his phone calls recorded, oh my God, he gets the case at a red ass. Let me show y'all. I'm going to speed it up. Again, I do have to run very shortly, but I want to show y'all this. Just at the very least to show you how mad Harvey Levin is capable of being. Who knew? Who knew?
Life to Mark Agnifilo, literally his life, because
okay, wait,
he
no,
could have
we
gotten
gotta
life in prison.
This is ominous. Listen,
I gotta say, this is awful that Diddy owes his life to Mark Agnifilo, literally his life, because he could have got.
Let's just take that statement in and of itself. I already told y'all, if something ever happens to Diddy, he gets put in a conservatorship or something, I'm not going to be leading the Free Diddy movement. I'm just so sorry. I'm just not. I reserve the right to change my mind, but like, that's just not what I see happening for me in my life in the cards. Okay. Whatever Diddy has coming to him, he just got coming. But like, if I could remove myself from knowing who Diddy is for just one moment and thinking, oh, he deserves it or whatever, and just think about the fact that a tabloid reporter is sitting up with one eye closed on his own show saying somebody owes their life. Literally, he said, literally, Diddy owes Mark Agnifilo his life. I don't know about y'all, but where I came from and where I come from, when you owe somebody your life, it's because they saved your life. Like, that's really the only reason why you would owe somebody your life. Or maybe they saved like your kid's life or something. Like, I owe you my life means I was going to die. And I didn't because of you. So we have a Harvey Levin saying Diddy owes Mark Agnifilo his life. That seems very strange to me. It seems like a weird, like, threatening. I don't know. It's just the fact that it opens with that. It freaks me out for some reason. But again, I mean, Diddy can catch his own fades, because if Diddy wanted any sympathy from me ever, if Diddy ever wanted any sympathy from me, he should have told his PR team to tell his PR plant not to be belligerent buffoons and physically violently threaten me and make me feel afraid for my safety in a federal court building. He should have done that if he ever wanted my help with anything. It's just, no. Too late. The toothpaste is out the tube.
I gotta say, this is awful that Diddy owes his life to Mark Agnifilo.
Look how mad he is.
Because he could have gotten life in prison were it not for Mark Agnifilo, his defense lawyer, who had a brilliant strategy. And Diddy screwed him over when he hired this videographer to chronicle his life without telling Mark Agnifilo that when Diddy and Mark were on the phone, this videographer was recording what Mark clearly.
So you see what I mean? He's like, Mark didn't even know. It's like, well, how do you know what Mark knew? I certainly don't know what Mark knew and didn't know. Do you? Put a 1 in the chat if you don't know what Mark Agnifilo knew, but Harvey Levin is saying it full chested like he knows. So did he get it secondhand from his buddy Mark? The Matrix has 6 names. Y'all know. Did he get it from his buddy Garagos, who got it from Agnifilo? Does Harvey have a direct line to Agnifilo? I mean, these are questions, but you see what I mean? Like, it kind of seems like he's in touch with somebody, and and whoever the somebody is letting Harvey be the mouthpiece.
An attorney-client privileged relationship. Now, it is true that the client holds that privilege. The lawyer doesn't. But Mark's clear expectation was that this was a private conversation. These were private conversations, and that he and Diddy could talk openly. And Mark could talk to Diddy, not just as a
what
client,
does
but as a
50
person.
Cent, what does my uncle 50 Cent have Mark Agnifilo on the phone saying? What if it's like something like, listen, anybody with the last name Agnifilo who lives in New York, I come in peace. That's probably maybe that's my cousins. I don't know if I have any Italian cousins. Y'all can let me know. But like, it's giving mafia family. It's giving, I don't want to really mess with him. I already say, like, you know, he's going to hell and stuff, but I'm not recording my phone calls with him if I ever have them. Okay. Nope. And I definitely, nope. I definitely ain't letting some third party cameraman come in and come through. One other thing I want to say too about something I noticed about how Harvey is talking. He's talking in a way where it's kind of like making it a public breakup. It almost seems like he's kind of announcing Mark Agnifilo's pissed. He's not going to be putting his life and his neck and his career and his reputation on the line for the likes of Sean P. Diddy, Puff Daddy Combs anymore, because Mark feels burnt. He feels betrayed, I think. He feels like, hold on, dude. You let me sit on that phone and say any and every kind of thing. You recorded yourself talking to me on that phone. And you didn't bother to give me a heads up you were doing that? It's like, why would you do that? And look, listen, I think Mark Agnifilo's going to hell and stuff. But if I'm Mark Agnifilo, I'm going to be pissed. Oh my God, I'll be so mad. I would be so mad. And so there's a few like things that I feel like if you kind of like do a little bit of a reach and read between the lines is really kind of going on here. Okay, certo. I have Italian cousins. How you say cousin in Italian? Ciao, bellissima. Come stai? That's how you say that. How good am I at Italian? Como stai? Or is it stay? Is it certo? Yeah, I definitely like that. Feels like I could say that. I do think I might have some Italian cousins. I think I could probably speak Italian if I like trained or whatever. None of these people cope well with a lack of control. They wail like toddlers. And I mean, like, honestly, who does? Who really does? But yeah, I mean, when they have all this power and all this money, but they still don't have control, it's really embarrassing for them. Oh my gosh, slay. My pronunciation, would you say, is it bene? Bene? But what's good in Italian? Bene. Is that, am I making that up? Okay. Okay.
To guide him in a time leading up to his arrest. And unbeknownst to Mark Agnifilo, Diddy has got this guy recording.
Look how mad he is.
As he's sitting there saying, you are screwing this up. You are messing up this case. We're losing. And knowing that that's on tape. And it's almost like he's performing for the camera.
Yes.
And not telling Mark what's going on.
Agreed.
And the really enraging part about it is,
look how
that Mark Agnifilo won this case for Diddy with legal strategy. It wasn't just an accident that this jury that had heard all of this in the news before the trial voted not guilty on all the serious charges. It was Mark Agnifilo that did that.
Okay, so again, I'm reading between the lines a little bit, but I think that there was a little bit of a turf war. And this happens with a lot of these big celebrity trials where they have like a big personality as the client. This happened in the OJ trial where it's like, you know, it's one thing to be a real good lawyer and be able to navigate federal court or criminal court, but it's another thing to be able to navigate the media. And it's another thing to be able to navigate the trust with the client. Remember Kim Kardashian's daddy, Robert Kardashian, went and like renewed his law license. Poor thing. He did not pass down any of those genes to her. She cannot even pass the freaking bar exam. Poor thing. Bless her heart. He passed too, apparently. Anyway, so he trusted him. Robert Kardashian was a trusted person as far as OJ Simpson was concerned. And he wasn't the best lawyer. I mean, he wasn't even practicing, I don't think, at the time. But then he, he gets brought in. So in the Diddy case, I think what was going on was Mark Agnifilo had it on lock in the courtroom. I mean, I even was able to see Mark Agnifilo, how he handled himself in court, how he spoke to the judge, how he made his arguments on that day that I went. And he's good. He's good inside court. But that's a totally separate thing from the circus outside court. And you know who is good outside court in the circus? Mark Garagos. It's true. They both going to hell, as far as I'm concerned, but they both know how to navigate in their respective realms. I'll say jurisdiction, for lack of a better word. But I believe Mark Garagos was out here running PR for Diddy. That's what I believe. And don't forget, Teeny Garagos is Mark Garagos' daughter. She was on Diddy's trial team. She did some of the questioning. She did some of the statements, the opening or the closing or something. So, I think what Harvey Levin is doing here is saying, yeah, Mark Garagos is my friend and stuff. But Diddy really does owe what happened inside that courtroom to Mark Agnifilo. Because Mark Agnifilo was not on Two Angry Bird podcast every day. He was inside that court. He was putting forth preposterous, in my opinion, some of them bad faith arguments, stupid arguments, most preposterous stuff. It's like lies so big that they would never think it could possibly be a lie. I'm not saying he lied for sure in court, but he sure did say that notepad said legal on it and it did not, for example. So does that mean he knew? Does that mean he didn't? I don't know. But I see Harvey Levin here being like, dude, you don't get Mark Garagos won the case for me about things, Diddy. Because the person putting in those hours, long hours for months, over a year, was Mark Agnifilo. And he got other stuff to do. He's Luigi Mangioni's attorney. He was somebody else's. He's got other stuff to do. And he really did, for all intents and purposes, he did win this case for Diddy. Diddy was facing truly life in prison. And he's only going to probably serve a couple years. So streets are saying, and by streets, I mean YouTube and TikTok and the rest, are kind of starting to mumble and grumble. What's really on these 50 Cent tapes that he has? What's really on these tapes? Now, look, listen, the tinfoil hat in me says this is all just a big op to get it to where whenever you start Googling Diddy tapes, what comes up is whatever 50 Cent has instead of whatever terabytes they took from inside his house, like who knows what white parties, who knows what was on those security cameras. Maybe if they just want us to Google Diddy tapes and then they just think we're talking about these ones, talking to his lawyers. But the powers that be have reasons to want to take down Mark Agnifilo too. Because that man defends the hell out of his clients. He wins these cases. He does. So, I don't know. These are all just, listen, I don't know for sure any of this.
Diddy secretly records this guy and embarrasses him. And yeah, you could say, well, Diddy never expected that it would end up being broadcast somewhere else. Well, okay, but Diddy was planning on using it, or he wouldn't have had it recorded in the first place. So it's just really, really unfair. And I know that in a way this sounds crazy that I'm getting so upset about Diddy.
He knows.
There's video of Diddy beating Cassie. Well,
he knows. Harvey knows that he's coming across as like, this is bizarre. You have been reporting for 30 or plus years on the most grotesque and detestable creatures that exist on planet Earth. And they live right over there in LA, those Hollywood weirdos. And this is what you're choosing to get your cortisol through the roof. He's sweating. He's red in the face. He's red in the face. He's like, well, I know. I saw the video of Cassie. Yeah, I know you didn't see I was upset about that as upset about that as I am about this. But. That's what I'm hearing. And it just don't look good.
Horrendous. But that doesn't mean you can't look at something else as well. And I just think, as a lawyer, this is just so outrageous that he would do something like this, and not even understanding what Agnifilo's legal theory was. Because I will tell you that when we did our first documentary on Diddy, which was 8 months before the trial, Mark Agnifilo said to me on camera that he is to tell this jury that this was a successful black man that prosecutors were trying to take down because they couldn't get into his bank accounts because they were clean, and he couldn't deal with taxes because he wasn't committing tax fraud. So they go into his bedroom. And that's what Mark Agnifilo said 8 months before. And he goes into the trial and he essentially wins that argument, whether you believe it or not. A jury that sat through the whole thing, they believed it, and ultimately they convicted him on this BS Mann Act thing. So Diddy won that.
Okay, hold on. BS man act thing. Okay, the man has lost it. The man has lost it. It's time to put him out to pasture. And by that I mean retire. Okay, so anyway, I wanted to report on that. And I also want to show y'all some of the categories of things. Oh no, I need to go to BJ Investigate. That are up for the award show because it's funny. Okay, so one of the awards is Clapback of the Year. Let me show you the nominees. Okay, here it is right here. Clapback of the Year nominees.
2025 Clapback of the Year. Bald-headed scallywag and Hefe versus That Surprise Witness.
Motherfucking Disney frog with a wig on.
Croaking, quite literally like a frog. You are a bald-headed scallywag.
Cardi B, It's a Wig.
I know you guys having a little key with the moment.
Yesterday you had black hair, short hair. Today it's blonde and long. Which one is your real hair?
They're wigs.
BJ investigates hair follicle test.
There's some lies going around about me, and it's led me to have to take a hair follicle drug test.
People powdering their nose right on live. What? Who was powdering their nose on live? BJ.
That Surprise Witness versus Megan Cuniff.
She's had a bounce in her step. Now she looks rode hard and put up wet or something. And I commented that on Megan's, supposedly neutral coverage. And this reporter, she fired back something sassy.
Yep, that's Clapback of the Year. Okay, there's more. There's also Court Reporter of the Year, and this category is going to actually have even more nominees, but the little trailer doesn't have all the nominees in it, but it will by the time we do the live tomorrow. So let me show y'all the current right now nominees. This one's Court Reporter of the Year.
A Court Reporter of the Year. Armand Wiggin.
Wait, hold on. What the hell?
2025 Court Reporter of the Year. Armand Wiggins.
And I see you in your
Shut your dirty ass up.
dirty.
Look at you, bitch. I'm not arguing with you.
Chloe Maylors.
Why did you advocate for Britney Spears to be on a conservatorship? You were advocating for Britney Spears to be in a conservatorship. She's now in a court-sealed care plan because of you and people like you. We don't appreciate that.
Megan Cuniff.
Megan, what do you want other bloggers to know about their behavior online?
Then they also had Megan back on the stand to ask her about her commenting to people outside the courthouse, which the judge ruled was in violation of a gag order. So I actually got brought up.
And how verified is that? Because you weren't 100% sure if this happened at first when you tweeted about it, right?
Murad Merali.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God.
That Surprise Witness.
Hello, everybody. This is just a short update. I am in my hotel. I am white. We're outside the courthouse. I didn't get to see the judge or anything, but it was like basically I think I chose like the most boring day of the whole entire trial.
Tisa tells.
Guys, how y'all doing today? Well, baby, if your name is Sean Diddy Combs, I know you are crying a river. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I know when got fired when she went. Okay. It was like a video. Dawn was ready. She is angry, mad.
Isn't that so fun? There's also Jezebel of the Year. There's some other ones. Yeah, I mean, I'm aware. Okay, so first of all, like I told y'all, the Court Reporter of the Year category is gonna have some more additions made to it. So maybe it'll be the one that y'all want. What I will say is this is a bias award show, and it's kind of just a joke. And really the main reason is like I really want to kind of do like a year in review. type event type thing. And I kind of wanted to spoof a little bit, like a spoof on like the VMAs, or like, remember the MTV Video Music Awards, and they would play these commercials and we'd get all hype and we'd watch it, and Nickelodeon Teen Choice Award. Like I kind of wanted it to kind of just like feel a little bit like that. And it's just kind of a joke. Like it really is more of a comedy special. The voting committee is me. So like, it's not a real award show. Like, I just want to let y'all know, like, there's no prize. The award is just like, you won. And like, I didn't even tell anybody that they're nominated. But that being said, I am, because I am, so cool and popular and everyone really likes me and all that. I'm sure, some people are going to say, well, why didn't you nominate so-and-so for the so-and-so? Y'all, it's not real. It's fake. Okay, it's not a real award show. There's no, it's just a silly fun thing I've just had in my mind that I wanted to do. It's not real. And also y'all are free to do the same. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna be bullied. I'm gonna be pushed around and told what to do either. So, I'm sure there's gonna be, people that give comments and ideas where it's like, oh man, I do wish I would have thought of that because that was funny. That was a good idea. But this isn't real. Okay, y'all. So hopefully nobody takes it too seriously, because it's literally just a joke. It's a fake bias award show. But I also wanted to spoof a little bit on the fact that all award shows are fake. Like, all of them are fake. All of them are fake. All of them are, who do you know? Who do you know? Do you really think that the Grammys is really voting on the best song of the whole year? Because they definitely not. The song that wins every year is most certainly not the best song of each year. Okay, so it's kind of just like a joke. It's kind of a joke. It's kind of a performance art. It's kind of life imitates art. If you didn't get nominated for a category, please don't be offended, y'all. It's literally a joke video. Okay. So if you are offended, like, go make an award show. Don't give me an award, I guess. I mean, you'll be doing it. Your award show will be even faker than mine if you don't give me an award, but whatever. That's fine. Anyway, so that's going to be tomorrow. That's going to be tomorrow, and it's going to be in the evening time. I think probably we're going to shoot for around 6:00. And tomorrow, make sure that you're signed up, because we're going to have to be doing a couple of dress rehearsal moments tomorrow. So we will go live with those. If you're a member, you'll be able to see the live, the member live, but then you do not have to be a member to see the actual award show live at night. So that'll be open to the public. You will be able to come in. You will be able to come and see what's going on. But like throughout tomorrow, it's going to be like the whole day is going to be like setting up for this event. It's going to be me and two people. Okay. It's like a whole entire production. It's going to be me and one or two other people, depending on scheduling. So I have been wanting to do this award show thing for a couple years. I think it's going to be fun. And that's all I really had for this one. Actually, I do have some more things to say, but like I said, I'm running around like a chicken with a head cut off right now because I got to get a whole bunch of other stuff done. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to thanks so much for coming through. And I will be back. Probably the next time y'all will see me is probably going to be that live tomorrow night. But I might be able to squeeze a little live in tomorrow if something crazy happens. Shout out to Brittany becoming a member. I thought you were already a member. Yes. Don't worry. The outfit will be outfitting. There's a whole entire makeup and wardrobe section of the schedule tomorrow. That's just going to be me doing that. That's all I really have for this one. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Neither are opinions. I don't know these people. Okay. They're all innocent until proven guilty. Love you, mean. Okay. Bye.